welcome back to my channel. I hope wherever you are, you're keeping safe and well. Normally I don't say that at the beginning of videos, normally I say that at the end, but I genuinely hope that wherever you are, you're keeping safe and well. Like, these times are crazy for so many reasons, and I really hope that wherever you are, you're okay. Today's video is slightly different than my usual content, and it's really weird to title something like, "Where did I go?" Because actually, for you, I've only missed 1 week's worth of uploading. For me, I tend to pre-record a kind of batch of videos and then upload them. And I find that that works a lot better because generally I have to be very careful around my time management. So what tends to happen is if I have like a free day or a free afternoon, then I tend to record a few videos in one go. So for you, I've only been gone for a week of not recording, but actually I haven't gone anywhere near YouTube for a little while now, and I wanted to talk about why. I think it's difficult when you do have a kind of, I want to say like visible presence, but I know that my presence is not that visible, but when you have a channel on YouTube, or when you have, you know, Instagram or social media and stuff, if you're someone who regularly uploads and regularly posts stuff, people notice when you disappear, even if it's just for a week or so, or even a day. And this month, especially kind of throughout February, I really haven't been around as much. And I think it's just the fact that this pandemic situation has been going on for over a year now. And there's so many controversial opinions about it all. You know, there are opinions about whether it's even real and conspiracy theories. There are opinions about the government and how they've acted. There's opinions about restrictions and lockdown, and people are doing different things. Some people are happy to not social distance. Other people are social distancing with masks. You know, supermarkets are crazy. It's crazy times, right? You know, generally I've been okay. I'm quite mentally strong myself, so I've been okay, but having my children at home and homeschooling them and also trying to manage everything else has been really, really tough. I haven't had a huge amount of time for editing. I definitely haven't had time for recording. And beyond that, my own mental health in the past few weeks has taken a bit of a dip. This is a very, very difficult time of year for me. And again, I say this every time that I mention this video in another video. Weird to promote it, but if you haven't seen my video talking about my own attempted suicide, then weirdly look at it. But that happened towards the end of January. I always find it odd coming to sort of January, February time, because there's a lot of stuff that happened in January, February a few years ago that just means that I tend to struggle a bit. I tend to get very reflective, and I do isolate myself quite a bit to try and manage my own mental health, especially during a pandemic when you can't see friends, you can't reach out to friends as much. This year, I really stepped back into some old coping mechanisms and just cut people out for a while. I just went very quiet on socials, went very quiet through YouTube. So I guess I wanted to record this video to kind of say that that's okay. And interestingly, whenever somebody posts these types of videos, if they have a channel or whatever, then normally what happens in the comments is people are like, it's been a week, it's fine, don't worry about it. You know, most of the time people are pretty accepting, and that's okay. So I guess I wanted to post a video saying, yeah, I went off and I know that that's okay, but also from a kind of broader perspective. Obviously I'm a trainee counsellor, trainee psychotherapist, trainee psychologist, and for some reason, there is this kind of understanding that if you are treating people with mental health concerns, then you must be completely infallible. And that's just so wrong. I remember feeling this way sitting opposite a therapist thinking, oh my God, you've got your life together. And they just don't. And that's not to say that we're a mess, because we're not. It's just that if you work in the field, you have a really strong understanding of your own mental well-being. So I can very quickly recognize when things aren't quite how I'd like them to be. I can very quickly give myself the space, the time, the support that I need at those points. I have a huge amount of understanding of my history and my past and my influences and my triggers and all that kind of stuff, which basically means that I can sit opposite the range of people that I can. But generally, there is this view that this therapist that you're going to see is somehow this kind of expert, normal human that does not get any mental health stuff. Like, they've just got their lives together. And I know that as a service user, I have sat there and looked at that person and thought, oh my God, they've got their lives together and I'm such a mess. And actually, therapists just aren't perfect mental health wise. Yes, we can identify things far more quickly. Yes, we can seek support far more quickly. And we have a range of coping mechanisms that mean that generally our mental health is better, and we don't tend to get as stuck in one perspective, because obviously we spend most of our time with clients talking about other perspectives and broadening mindsets. So the other caveat for this is that it depends what type of therapist you are. So for me, my focus is person-centered therapy. So it's not a Freudian psychodynamic or psychoanalytical approach. It's not CBT. I validate people that I sit with. And part of that process also means that for myself, I validate myself. So if I'm having a bad day, that's okay. If I don't want to go on YouTube for 3 weeks, that's okay. If I don't want to record a video for 3 weeks, that's okay. But I guess what I wanted to do with this video was to give you an update on where I am and kind of say that, yeah, you know, sometimes we struggle too. And there is this view that therapists are perfect, and we're really not. Nobody is. I don't think there's anybody alive who doesn't have some kind of mental health stuff going on sometime. So even if it's just worries about, I don't know, how you look that day or where you're going, or social anxiety, or, you know, being concerned about how a conversation is going to be taken by a friend, compared to what would be termed diagnostically as like mental health issues. You know, it's a full spectrum and range of stuff, but everybody has some stuff going on, and therapists aren't immune to that. And actually, we are the most at risk of developing poor mental health ourselves, just because we do spend so much time with people who have mental health concerns, and it can be very, very difficult emotionally to sit and provide space to people feeling that way, you know, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, or however you work it. The other thing I wanted to say is that with everything going on in the world at the moment, there isn't enough evidence, like actual research proven evidence, to show the mental health impacts of the crisis and everything that's going on. But what I would say is that from a professional point of view and from a personal point of view, this last lockdown in the UK has affected more people than I've ever known. I think because the lockdown last year was kind of over the summer and stuff, and it was kind of a novelty to start with, it was a bit different, whereas now there's been a lot of kind of prolonged anxiety where people have seen that the government maybe haven't acted the way that they would have liked. There's been prolonged lack of contact, prolonged lack of social connections, and it's just been going on for so long now that mental health wise, at this point in time, people are massively struggling. And there is no empirical research at this point in time to really show the impacts of this, but as a mental health professional, I'm pretty sure that we will be seeing the impacts of this for a long time, even down to, you know, in sort of 10, 20 years time, when the children of now are turning around and saying, well, I couldn't go to school for a year and I couldn't see my friends for a year. There's been a lot of reports of children struggling with mental health, behaviour being disrupted, sleep being disruptive, children having nightmares, children crying. There's been lots and lots of personal accounts and personal experiences of that happening. And on a personal level, my friends have been struggling with poor mental health at this point in time. From a professional point of view, we've been inundated with requests for support. I think most mental health providers are struggling right now anyway. There was a severe lack of funding in mental health support prior to the pandemic, let alone now. And from a therapeutic point of view, one of the initial first things that you do, like the first session that you have with someone, is you find out what support networks they have. Support networks and social connections are one of the major kind of positive factors in good mental health, is having that support network and those connections. And the pandemic has just made those connections so much harder. Whether that's been in terms of you can't actually see people, you can't spend time with people, but you also can't hug people. So there's just so much anxiety and complications and difficulties around what we would see mental health professional wise as one of the most reducing factors in poor mental health. So at this point in time, everyone is struggling in different ways for different things, and we're not infallible. I myself have also been struggling too. So I just wanted to give you an update on where I've been. I kind of feel like sometimes on YouTube you don't really get to know me that well, because I do kind of talk around a topic each week rather than kind of talk about myself. So I wanted to have quite a vulnerable video and talk about me and how much things have been really tough recently. I fully know that this is a period of time that's limited and that things will pass and that things will change, but I'm trying not to be too dismissive. And on those days where I just need to veg out and watch Netflix all day in my pajamas, that's what I'm doing. So I hope wherever you are, genuinely, I hope you're keeping safe and well. If you liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe to my channel for semi-regular, almost regular, but occasionally we lapse, content around mental health and well-being, and also vegan food sometimes. Wherever you are, I hope you're doing great, and I will catch you in the next one.